Okay, in this video I'm going to patch ESXi. So you'll see I'm at update 1. It could be any version of ESXi 5.0, and I'm going to go to 5.0 update 1. So let's get started. I'm using this article I wrote a while ago about how to easily patch. We're basically using the non-VMware Update Manager way to do it. WinSCP or Veeam to move the file, run a Putty command, and reboot. That's the gist of it. So let's get started. To run Putty or anything remotely, we need to first point to the ESXi host, go to Configuration, and go to Security Profile. Click Properties, and we need to start SSH. I'm going to say start and stop manually. I don't need that routinely running necessarily. Okay, done with that step. Next, let's move the file. I'm going to go with Veeam. It's a large file and it'll be a little quicker. Quicker than, say, plain old SSH and SCP techniques to move files around, or even WinSCP. It'll be much faster on Veeam. Alright, once we start Veeam, we need to log into the ESXi host. And I need to pick a suitable place to stick the file. Let me think about this. Okay. We need to get it in the clipboard, so go to My Computer, go to the local file, and that's the file we're about to apply. Copy it to the clipboard, and then go to a target somewhere on the RAID array. Okay, I have plenty of space on this RAID array. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a folder called Patch. Right-click paste, and now we watch the bandwidth. Over gigabit, it should be pretty quick. It takes a little while to set up the connection. Once it's set up, it sends it unencrypted, and it should speed right along. Very nice. If we had used WinSCP, it'd be basically the same thing. Alright, so now we need to use Putty. Start, run, execute Putty, point to the ESXi host, and log into it. Okay, let's see our volume list. Hit tab for autocomplete. Oops. Hit tab for autocomplete, and now we're in the patch folder. Excellent. And we're ready to type in the appropriate command to actually apply that update. And here's that command. I'm just going to type it. ESXi equals If we hit type ahead here, you'll notice it doesn't work. So you just need to be accurate at this point. But if we look up, we can see the previous commands I typed. We do know the folder we're in here. So VMFS, volumes. Notice you're not picking the long name, you're picking the short name of the volume, LSI-RAID in my case. So it's easier when you don't have spaces on your volume names. Part of why I did this way. Syntax is easy to remember. Okay, patch is the folder. And now we're stuck with typing that long file name. And again, typehead's not going to work. ESXi software vib update. Yeah, I've done it right. Okay, just going to manually type it. Okay, I'm going to carefully proofread my work. Again, I'm basically just following my own cheat sheet here. Changing the volume, ESXi, software vib, update, important 2 dashes. Depot, complete, directory, folder, path, patch folder, update. I'm just making sure the file name matches perfectly. And go ahead and hit enter. Now it's going to crank away for a little while. I'm going to want to quiesce, shut down, detach, whatever you want to call it. I want to shut down all workload. Yeah, I could just trigger reboot, which in my case I believe I've got it set to automatically shut down some VMs. But I'm going to let this patch finish first. Just watch over it. If we look at my screenshot, we know what to expect, what a normal patching looks like when it's done. It should have results that look like this. Got bigger. So it's going to say something like that, and it's going to prompt us to reboot. And that's the gist of it. I don't need to necessarily wait for that. I can start preparing for a reboot. So I've got some VMs that I know I can suspend. Okay, vCenter itself I'm logged into, and that's going to automatically shut down gracefully when I go to shut down ESXi. So I'm not worried about that one. Do have a couple more I can go ahead and suspend. Okay, and I'm waiting for this one last. It's actually a virtual machine doing a bunch of backups here. And I found if I reboot ESXi and resume that VM quickly enough, it just continues along backup job it was in the middle of. So that's kind of cool. And there we go. On the right side, the screen in Putty just updated. Now we're going to want to scroll back and have a look. Do we have good news? We do. Patch command worked. Successful. System needs to be rebooted. Reboot equals true. And it gives me a log of everything that happened. So that's the procedure. And as I mentioned, it's now a matter of suspending that one last VM. And it's not allowed because this is the way there's some mapping going on. Allowed in its current state. Let's have a look. So we've got USB devices mapped to it, and a raw device, a mapped raw LUN. I don't have any USB 3.0 or PCI devices. Oh, there I do, right there, unknown. So because that USB 3.0 is mapped to this VM, I can't shut it down. I can't even remove it. So I'm going to have to just go ahead and shut it down. That's okay. And actually, we can use it through tools. VMware Tools is installed, so if we do a shutdown guest, it's going to gracefully shut down that guest operating system, which it just did. And you'll see the workload's pretty much done except for vCenter itself. Now you'll see the vSphere client is pointing to vCenter, so of course we're going to interrupt this window when we go to reboot, of course. So that finished. Okay, set things up. We can see video of the ESXi host rebooting, in case anything special happens here. So I'm not going to use maintenance mode. I have no place to vMotion to. I only have one host at the moment. So I'm going to do a reboot of the ESXi host. And down it goes at the bottom, initiate host reboot. We'll also probably see a Putty break here. Go ahead and exit that window. And I brought the local console up, so I'm recording what that looks like as it triggers a reboot shortly. The vCenter appliance. Oops, okay, so the vCenter appliance obviously just went down. That's why this just died. And now it's rebooting. After we get through the boring BIOS stuff, we should see patched ESXi coming up. And there it goes. This is a 720p video, so we're not quite fitting the 768 vertical pixels there. But at the bottom, all you missed was the 5-second countdown. And there's the new build number, 623860. A little strange that that doesn't match this number. I don't quite have a good reason for that. 623. Oh no, it does match. Good. I was looking at vCenter for a second there. So it worked. It patched. It's done. The way I have it configured is vCenter is going to automatically start. And in about a minute, I'll be able to go ahead and log in and make sure everything looks good. That's basically the end of the procedure though for updating. There we go. We're back to a login screen. The usual failure messages there. It's going to take a little longer than that for vCenter to start. Probably going to fail on this first attempt. Yep, just means it doesn't come up yet. You'll notice the background went black, the usual kind of screensaver look to the local ESXi console. Yep, the services still aren't started. So we log back into vCenter, and we just have a quick look at the console to make sure everything looks okay. Click on the ESXi host, and there's our version 623.860. Hardware status, everything seems fine. Can have a look at LSI driver that's in use for my LSI controller. It still looks like it's using a version from last summer. Okay. Anyhow, it's done. It patched. It works. No big nasty warnings. And we're all set. And actually those virtual machines restarted that I was using. The ones I had suspended or shut down. Okay, hopefully you found this patching video helpful. And thank you for watching and for visiting tinkertree.com.